Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. This is the farewell service of the candidates for the joyful intercessions session. Boy, are we excited. We have some great candidates we're going to introduce you to in just a few moments. Let's welcome our divisional leaders, our accepted candidates, and our returning cadets. The band will lead us as we go. Flag bearer, Major David Erickson. Colonel Kenneth Johnson, Divisional Commander. Colonel Paula Johnson, Divisional Director of Women's Ministries. From Clearwater, Florida, Lieutenant Colonel Don Faulkner, Corps Sergeant Major and Flag Bearer. Please welcome Captains Michael and Christine Harris, Corps Officers. Accepted candidate Robert Korsnar. Accepted candidate Megan Mercier and Lieutenant Joe Mercier. From Fort Lauderdale, Chase Southworth, Flag Bearer. Captain Sheed and Julia Tarnew, Corps Officers. Please welcome accepted candidate Yevon Yates. From Naples, Florida, Flag Bearer Chris Paulchick. Corps Officers Enrique and Carla Perez. Accepted candidates Kelvin and Yuris Garcia. From Venice, Florida, Flag Bearer Todd Quick. Corps Officers Captain Scott and Andrea Hoover. And please welcome accepted candidate Sarah Bickford. Now, we are pleased to have at our second-year cadets the Messengers of Light session who have just completed their summer assignments throughout Georgia and Florida. And we ask that you welcome them as they come. Flag Bearer Captain John Branscombe of the Tampa ARC. Please welcome Cadets Dominique and Evelise Blanford from Melbourne, Florida, summer assignment. Cadets Mike and Julie Chamberlain from Lakeland, Florida. Cadet Will Conley, St. Petersburg, Florida. Cadets Chris and Elise Dvorowitz from Sarasota, Florida. Cadets Leon and Lori Perez, Orlando, Florida. Cadet Chelsea Fleeman, Leesburg, Florida. And Cadet Doug and Lieutenant Jane Monroe from Griffin, Georgia. Now, we also welcome our accepted candidates for the 2016-2018 Messengers of the Gospel session. Please welcome our flag bearer prospective candidate Joshua Davis from Winter Haven. And accepted candidate Juliana and Lieutenant Brandon Mason, St. Petersburg, Florida. And accepted candidate Tom Irwin from Tampa, Florida.
What a good-looking group. Let's give them all a big hand. It's been my joy to work with the candidates and their families, and I am excited to tell you that Florida is sending a dedicated group of future Corps officers to our Evangeline Booth College. We have individuals all called by God to leave their current professions and follow Him into full-time ministry in the Salvation Army.
The Boundless Congress has teaching us that we have a vast Salvation Army serving in 126 countries around the world. Our Florida candidates give evidence to the experience of God's grace and His mercy in their lives. Let's consider for just a few moments how far they have traveled from the place of their birth to this candidate farewell in Clearwater, Florida. All right, let's see if they can catch on here. When your name is announced, raise your hand. All right, we're going to start from the furthest destination, from Puerto Viejo. Did I say that right? Okay, Puerto Viejo, Ecuador, 1,733 miles, Kelvin Garcia. And almost as far, from Portland, Maine, 1,468 miles, Sarah Bickford. From Youngstown, Ohio, 1,113 miles, Robbie Corrston. From Cabana, Cuba, 333 miles, Nuris Garcia. And from Jacksonville, Florida, we're almost home, 220 miles, Megan Minches Mercier. You just get married? Oh, okay. I wondered where that extra yum came from. From Sarasota, Florida, 57 miles, Gavin Yates.
Well, and you notice one little handsome boy sitting in his mother's lap. That's Caleb, 4-year-old Caleb. He is bilingual. He loves to go to church. And his favorite fictional character is Curious George. And he wants a pair of boots, magic boots, just like Curious George has. So we're glad to have him. And the children of our second-year cadets, Malachi and Sarai Blanford, Deuce, Sean, and Cadence Chamberlain, Leon III and Maria Perez, Victoria and Samantha Monroe will be waiting to welcome him to the Child Care Center.
Let's also greet the extended families of our candidates. I'm going to ask the families of the candidates to please stand, if you would, please. Uh-oh.
Back to daycare.
All right. Will all the families of the candidates please stand? If you're a family member of the candidates, please stand. Stay standing. All right. Candidates, give them a hand. You wouldn't be here without them. All right. You may be seated.
I also express great appreciation to the Corps officers, the area commanders, and the ARC officers who have worked with our candidates. And I would ask you at this time to stand. The Corps officers, area commanders, and ARC officers who have worked, let's give them a hand. And I express great appreciation to our Divisional Candidates Board, who have prayed over and worked so diligently with each candidate and family. That's Colonels Ken and Paula Johnson, Major Todd Smith, Major David Erickson, Major Alejandro Castillo, Major Robert Webb, Captain Marion Platt, Captain Everett Platt, and Captain Brandon Mason and Captain Jason Swain. So we say a big thank you to all of you. And now we turn our service over to Colonel Johnson.